I seek to affirm the resolution that this House believes that being a vegetarian is a better ethical choice than meat eating. First, I want to define ethical, a word that is misconstrued almost as commonly as it's used. Standard definitions of ethics have typically included such phrases as the science of ideal human character or the science of moral duty. In their mini guide to ethical reasoning, Dr. Richard William Paul and Dr. Linda Elder of the Foundation for Critical Thinking define ethics as a set of concepts and principles that guide us in determining what behavior helps or harms sentient creatures. In his essay, Moral Diversity as an Argument for Moral Relativism, Gilbert Harmon, a highly qualified philosopher at Princeton University specializing in ethics and the philosophy of mind, states that morality is diverse and thus relative. We should completely separate morality from ethics. Ethics comes down to the well-being of sentient creatures, realizing that as sentient creatures, we ourselves are entitled to basic freedoms and choices that any other living creature has. In various moral frameworks, we see dilemmas and issues that have ethical concerns. Ethical concerns about sentient creatures and their well-being do indeed have moral relevancy, but morals are relative depending on the framework of the community. Ethics deal quite constantly with sentient creatures' well-being and our efforts and choices that deal with this. In defining ethics and morals and discerning the difference between the two, I hope I can make my argument structure and the resolution's use of the term ethical a bit more clear. I intend to argue it is unethical to harm ourselves or each other. Each other refers to the members of humanity and all other sentient creatures. By addressing the ecological concerns, animal rights, and human health and consumption in context of meat eating and production, I intend to prove the relevance to sentient creatures' well-being. In 2006, the UN calculated the total climate change emissions of animals bred for meat was 18% of the global total, more than all transportation combined. It takes 100 pounds of water to produce 1 pound of wheat, whereas it takes 20,000 pounds of water to produce 1 pound of beef. The majority of plant food grown on farms is used as animal feed. It takes 8.4 kilograms of plant food to produce 1 kilogram of pork. Animal protein production requires 8 times as much fossil fuel energy than production of plant protein. All of the grain currently fed to the United States livestock could feed 800 million people annually. More than 302 million hectares of land are devoted to producing feed for the U.S. livestock, and the 7 billion livestock animals in the U.S. consume 5 times as much grain as the entire population. So, by producing meat, the population loses a vast majority of its potential to produce protein. The amount of energy used is far greater than that of plant food, plus soil erosion and greenhouse gases produced by raising livestock makes our planet less sustainable. We need to sustain our planet to ensure the well-being of its inhabitants. Modern science concludes we have many similarities to other animals, especially mammals. For example, the DNA of the cow is 80% similar to humans. It is widely accepted by scientists that animals' brain complexity is directly linked to their ability to feel pain and suffering. B.F. Skinner, a highly qualified psychologist, proved that animals feel pain in a clinical test in which they were shocked with electrical current as they approached food. A pig's natural lifespan is 15 years, but they're generally killed for pork at 6 months of age. They're castrated without anesthetic and have their tails removed and teeth clipped. Some even die in the bad conditions of transit. The treatment of animals is bad enough that we systematically murder them for food. The fact that they suffer in the process shows ethical deficiencies. In 2010, 62 billion animals died for American food. The average meat eater's diet that year was responsible for 207 animal deaths, 16,000 over the course of a person's lifespan. Today, it is possible and beneficial to choose a vegetarian diet. You don't need to sacrifice health to abstain from meat. Therefore, for us, eating meat is a choice of leisure rather than a need. The protein and vitamins of meat can be derived from vegetable sources, except without the cholesterol and fat. We partake in a leisurely activity at the cost of another sentient creature's life and our own well-being. A vegetarian diet greatly lessens our ecological impact, thus decreasing the harm we do to ourselves. It decreases the food we need to produce, which will certainly decrease hardships at many levels. A vegetarian diet undoubtedly lessens the hardships on animals as well as other human beings. I would call that more ethical than eating meat. Thank you.